Hey guys, we're just waiting for Lauren. Let's see. There she is. Boop. Oh, quick that word. All right. Technology. You guys ready to ask a lot of... Hey, Lauren. What's
Hey,
up? It
we
actually
did
works.
it.
I love it when technology works. It's always a surprise to me.
Oh, I know. I always cannot believe it that technology does this, but we're here. We're
I
here.
know. Right here. So you had a really big finale moment last night. Was it last night? I don't have a sense of time anymore.
Yeah, in the UK, I've still been quite careful about saying too much because in the UK it only came out, I think, like in the middle of the night last night. So people have had work today. So I don't know if everyone's watched it yet, and I feel obliged to the Brits and the Scots not to give everything away just yet. But I can't anyway. I can with you guys.
Okay, but, so we'll tell everyone, like, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it, just watch us. Don't listen.
So if anyone's tuning in, we are going to talk about it all. So
all the
spoiler
stuff.
now.
I know. So Marcelly turned into a stone cold killer, and I loved it. So how was that for you to play?
Well, I mean, stone cold killer feels like it's like revenge and vengeful, when actually I feel like it's all to do with protection. Love. And it's all about protecting her family, and it's this instinct of responsibility and knowing that there was no one in that moment. She's got a direct threat from this evil person, and there's just no way Marcy's the kind of girl who's gonna let time take its moment and find someone else that can maybe do it for her. But she takes it upon the responsibility that's sort of built. I feel like this season, sort of like from episode 1, Marcy, with every episode, has been placed on with more responsibility, has found her place entirely on the ridge. I
saw Cesar just said she's lethal.
She's lethal, thank you, Cez. And with more responsibility, that I just don't think there was any other option other than taking it on herself and doing what she felt had to be done. There was just no other option. And I also don't know that it was, I don't know if it was, I don't think it was like a spontaneous decision. I think she takes the time that he's there to decide this is what she has to do. I don't think it's impulsive, if that, you know, I think she knows.
Do you think she was surprised that Claire couldn't do it? Or do you think she was like, I'm stepping in?
No, I don't think she's surprised, because I think we all know that Claire's taken an oath. She's never killed, and we all know that she's never killed.
Intentionally.
Was it improv, Cesar? Cesar, stop trolling. Stop trolling my husband. It was no, because I've always found that Marcy has always known that Claire's some sort of like white witch, or has got something more to her. She's not evil so much in her eyes, but there's definitely more going on. I'm
watching it.
And I just think there's far more going on. She knows that she's got her place, and if Claire can't do it, it's up to Marcy. I just think she knows there's no other choice. There isn't like maybe Claire should do it, or maybe I should wait for the guys to do it. It's just the case of this is what she has to do.
So speaking of Cesar, since he's on, let's talk about one fan had a question. Will Fergus talk more next season?
I
hope so.
Fair question. I hope so. Yeah, we've spoken about it, and of course, like, me and Cesar missed this year not getting to do as much together. It's obviously been amazing that Marcy's got to explore who she is and her world, and I don't think we've seen that. I think this is the first season we'd seen Marcy alone and get the chance to do that, because Marcy joined the family through Fergus, and we know a lot about Fergus, and we know his background, his history, and we've grown up with him. But Marcy, we hadn't really had the chance to do that yet, so I was really grateful to get the opportunity to do that. But like Cesar's my best mate, he's my best friend. Like, we miss talking, and we miss him being there, and Jesus, like, there's plenty of times where it would have been really helpful if he was there to help Marcy along with certain things that she was doing. And we miss like the romantic side of them a bit, which I think you'll get more of later. But of course. I can't speak on behalf of the writers to know if you'll speak, but I mean, the wooden hand speaks for itself.
It does. It does.
Says a lot.
I didn't know it was a wooden hand. I thought it was a copper hand.
Interesting. Oh, we should. Maybe there's something in that. That's quite Game of Thronesy, and we don't talk about Game of Thrones.
That's right. That's so Jaime Lannister.
Yeah.
Actually, I have to say, when Marcelly killed Lionel, I felt like it was Arya killing the Ice King.
Thank you. I'll take that. I will take that.
Take it. Because she is the queen now.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, when I read, because at first I don't know what the writer's process entirely was, but we speak throughout the whole season. Mm-hmm. And in episode, what was the episode? I can't even remember now what number it was that Bree and Marcelly have the kitchen conversation where Bree thinks that her son's gone missing. It was
earlier in the season. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's earlier, and Marcelly confesses that she has killed her father. And when I read the script, I was like, what? Oh my God, she's killed her dad. Like, this is such a good bit of information that I didn't know about. And then you read on and you realize that it's a bit of psychology. And
I was so really disappointed because I was like, no, I wanted her to like gut him. Yeah. Like,
same. I was like, oh, I want to kill. Like, I feel like I'm getting a taste for that. And then a lot of the writers, they're always on set. So yeah, I don't know if they got that. And there was elements of season 4 where I really missed Marcy's bite and missed her sarkiness that she's spawned from through Leary. That I think it was important that I think this season you really got a lot of a balance of this maternal loving part of the family, and don't forget where she comes from and who she is and what she's capable of, if you know what I mean.
Well, that's what I want to talk about, is because everyone has so many questions. The Claire Marcelly friendship, it's like not only mother-daughter, but it's sort of like Thelma and Louise go to med school. And it's like, you know, considering where they started, I mean, you know what Marcelly used to call Claire, which I love when you say that word.
What, here?
Yeah, there it is. There it is. How do you do that?
Well, you know, that's quite funny because when we filmed the scene, I just said whore. I was like, that whore. And then in post, they were like, we really want it to be hua, which is like how you would normally, like, yura hua is how you'd normally say it. And I think at the time it had just been like so heightened. I was new to the show. It was such a good moment anyway. I don't think anyone wanted to break it with calling her that on the boats. Yeah. So it was ended up in post. We changed the way I said it to that, but actually it becomes kind of iconic thing.
Honestly, I could make that my ringtone. Like I like that way it's pronounced so much.
I don't tend to call people that generally in real life, but I mean, me and Kat talked a lot about it. It was so intimidating because when I first arrived on set, I mean, Kat's like this goddess, like very tall, beautiful woman with a lot of like very empowering energy. And I was brand new and I'm like half the height of her. And the first thing I had to say to her was that she was a whore or a witch. And I was like, this is a great start.
You're like, I don't believe this.
Yeah. And then we became really, really good friends. And it's been such a great journey for us to do together because obviously she's an incredible actress. And to not have lost, I mean, she used to walk around calling me a pain in the ass and how much fun that was. And we haven't lost the fun of it. But it's also been really meaningful to get to, I mean, at first when I had to call her my ma, when I saw it in the script, I was like, oh, but I'm so affiliated to Leary that's my mum and that's where I come from. But actually, we've always spoken about how Claire and Marcelly are very similar. Actually, they see a lot of each other in each other, and I think that's why they've clashed. Yeah. Beyond the history of what's happened. Yeah. So actually to get them to bond over those similarities has been really special. We've both loved it. It's been great. And also just to get to hang out and work. Oh,
I know. I mean, your dynamic is like one of my favorite on the show and the female friendships in general. But let's also talk about, do you think you'll ever have a scene with Leary and Claire and Marcelly? And if it came down to it, Marcelly had to save one of them, who would she save?
Oh my God. Okay, I would love there to be a scene between the three of us. That would be epic. Oh my God, that's like giving me shivers to think about what that would be like. Because Nell's a good friend as well. Nell's like a couple of years older than me too, which is what we all found.
I know. She's like your teen mom.
Yeah, she's like my teen mom, but she gets prosthetics and everything to look a lot older, and I look a lot younger on it. But yeah, I mean, that would be amazing. I don't know. I wonder who the affiliation would be. I feel like it would be like Marcelly would be the middleman that has to try and make sure that they both don't kill each other. Although
Yeah.
I don't know that, I feel like Claire can't kill, so she's not going to go for her, and she's going to be the calm one, and Leary
Yeah.
might go for her.
But
So
Claire definitely knows how to slap. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm like, would she? Maybe she would. We could get a real fight going or something. If
I
I had
like
to
that.
kill one of them,
Yeah.
if I had to keep one of them,
Yeah.
I feel
Just
like I
it's
have
like
to
they're
say
both
Leary.
in a river drowning. Who do you save?
I feel like I have to say Leary because she's blood. But
I was so personally offended by that.
But like I can't. But like Leary's not. She's raised me as a single mum alone with like all the hardships in the world, and she's had divorces and pain. Like I still have that running through me. Like Claire's got Bree. Bree can come and save Claire.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I feel like a lot of people would save Claire. So let's talk about the finale a bit. That was so upsetting to watch, but so powerful. So when did you first see the finale?
I actually only saw it a few weeks ago. I got sent a link because they were being really good with making sure it was right and making sure it was dealt with properly. And I think everyone was in conversation right up until the final moment. So it took a while to be totally locked. So I hadn't seen that much. I actually don't really watch it. I find it quite difficult to watch the show because you spend so much of your time on it and you know everything that's going to happen and you've worked so intimately with everyone that there's a weird element of, well, these are my friends and I don't want to see my friends having sex and getting it on with each other.
Friends or no.
I don't need to see Sam Kieran like that.
I know. I talked to Sophie. I talked to Sophie yesterday, and we were talking about season 1. Like, did she binge it before she got started on the show? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, what was your favorite episode? And she's like, not the wedding episode.
No, not the wedding. No,
I
can't watch.
Did
Sophie
you
binge
binge?
either? Like they're good friends. There, I'm like, that's too. No, I can't do it.
It's like seeing.
But I watched. I did watch the '60s stuff because it's like that was like a once in a lifetime chance to get to do that stuff, and I was wearing like original vintage outfits and the fittings and everything were incredible, and it was a joyous thing to shoot, despite the fact that we knew how steeped in horror and how horrible it's all sort of the undercurrents are of it. So I did watch it to see how it had turned out because we didn't get playbacks or anything for it. Jamie wanted to keep it all it was really improv. Lots of what was going on was improvisation. So
really? First of all, I have a bunch of questions that I got from Twitter, but people were like, you really rocked that 70s look. And one fan wanted to know, did you steal any of your outfits?
I really tried. See the white go-go boots? Oh my god! Before the fittings, I had said to Trisha, she'd like given me some ideas of what she was looking at, and then we got like a rail of just like all original vintage pieces, and we just had a field day and like went through everything, and we had like little patterned 2 pieces and stuff that we almost went with, and then the yellow dress came along, and it literally fit like a glove. There was no altering done at all, and I was like, Trisha, you have to give me a pair of like white boots or something. And she was like, do you mean these? And she'd already got a pair, and they were
wow.
She was like, you can't wear them anywhere other than inside because they're original and blah blah blah. So it was like kind of the best thing ever for Marsley, because Jamie the director, the first thing he said to me was, we want to try and show Marsley's personality through her clothes in the 60s stuff, because we just don't get to see that at all. You can't with who she is in the 1700s, because she's just so a woman of the time. You don't get the corset off. Even when I've got the pregnancy bump on, I'm wearing a corset. Like, you're just always.
All right, we have to talk about your super pregnancies. Like, okay, Claire had a very good talk with you about birth control.
Yes.
Shortly after you called her I can't do it. Whore. Say it the special. Yeah, there it is. I'm gonna practice later. And so Marsley and Fergus just don't know how to do that, or they do know how to do that too well.
No, I just think they're really in love, and they just love having me time with each other, and they're really into each other, and they're young. They're like young, healthy rabbits.
It's like, why
to have a
not?
good time. Yeah. Also, Marcy must just be super fertile, because each time it seems to be that she had that we did just like it did become a little bit of a joke, and it started to annoy me a little bit, because it's like every time I was coming out, someone was like, "What number is this? What number of baby?" And then after episode, what is it, 10,
yeah, where you're
I've
like giving birth in one and then
had the baby, and then 2 episodes later I'm pregnant with the next one. I was like, guys, we just took it off. Like, I know what we're gonna do.
Well, is that so annoying for you to have to wear the pregnancy belly? Like, pretty much?
It's huge. I mean, obviously, like, there's far more annoying things to be doing. And I had to do nothing like something like I had to do in the finale, but on a small scale, yes, the bump it's so big. It's like carrying 6 kids.
Yeah, it looks large
and small. So to have something so massive engulf your entire body, and then have everyone quite regularly coming around like wanting to punch it or something, like all the guys, all the boys on the set want to do that. And
which boys do that? Is that
Sam and Richard? Sam and Richard think it's really funny. I'm like, guys, come on, it's a real baby under there.
Yeah, don't touch my baby.
Quite attached. Like, you do find yourself sitting rubbing it, and then people like will offer you chairs more regularly and make sure you're all right, and like make sure you've got water and give you a little back rub and stuff, which actually becomes really nice. So it's good, but like there'll be days sometimes where we'd shoot like an earlier sequence and then a later or something. So my bumps would be different sizes. So I'd like come in massive and then come back in, and everyone be like, "Whoa, where'd the baby go?" Okay? I was like, yeah. But,
you guys obviously have a lot of fun behind the scenes. I'm going to start taking questions soon, but is there any behind the scenes story that you can share with Kat, Sam, Cesar that you haven't told anyone yet?
Oh, I haven't told anyone yet.
Well, not anyone. Like, you could tell someone.
Well, there was a funny one. It reminded me. Kat put a video up of, there was a day. It was like a really glorious day. I think we're just shooting a massive like crane sequence where they were just doing a huge wide shot of everyone, and it was all the guys leaving. Like, they were all going off to Brownsville, and so everyone was there, and it was like, that doesn't always happen where we're all together, which is really fun. So everyone was there, and I had my little baby Joni, who was 4 months old and was so cute and small, and like was quite happy to just sit on me all day. And then Robbie, who plays our little boy Germain, he's insane, amazing, best actor on set. For sure. Everything he does is so real.
We're gonna talk about him next.
And then he was running around like wild, but like the chaperones were kind of like, she's quite good just staying on you. Can you just like keep a hold of her? We'll get you the chair in between takes. And I was like, yeah, great. And then it was like more helpful so she wouldn't wake up. And then at one point she did start to wake up, and me and Robbie were like, oh my, and I was like, pregnant, baby one arm, one in the other. And I was like, what do we do? And Robbie was like, why don't we sing to her? And I was like, okay, Robbie, what shall we sing? And we came up with a song that was just like, "You tiny baby," and it went on and on and on for hours. And Robbie and I tell them, "I'm your chaperone." Shut up, Cesar.
He's still here. He's still here.
Watching, and the baby was like super into the tiny baby song until the point that she really wasn't anymore, and she burst into tears. And all you can hear is Cesar going, I mean, if you were calling me tiny too, I'd probably cry. So I don't know what you expect. And I like
that French accent. That's excellent.
Yeah, thank you. I've had years to practice.
Sophie to do a Scottish accent, and she was like, "No, they'll crush me. They'll crush me."
Yeah, we would.
That's
Cesar,
what I thought.
Cesar, I would like to think loves it, but I'm sure probably hates my accent. We have a game that, I shouldn't start embarrassing myself. We have a game
do it.
Like, if he's watching, if we're hanging out, like when we're in South Africa filming, he'd watch French football, and it would be the commentators going across, and it would be French commentators, and he'd be like, "What do you hear when you hear that?" And I'd be like, "Oh, okay, they speak, and I'll speak with them." And I'd be like, "Oh, and he was like, "Oh, okay, no, that's good, yeah." But it was total gibberish. It was weird. But
I would love for you to recap an episode of Outlander in that voice.
In French, yeah, I'll do it one day. No, don't. Sorry, Cesar, you're behind, but I told the story.
Yeah, it would be like, I would call that French-ish, not French.
Yeah, Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. So let's take some questions here. Oh, someone wanted to know, do you want Kat to direct an episode?
Yeah, I would love that. Absolutely. Yeah, I think she'd be amazing. She knows everyone so well. She knows the crew so well. She knows how the story and the show runs, and the sort of energy and atmosphere that the show needs. So I think she'd be amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And she's incredibly smart as well. So, and creative, and she's got great taste.
Yeah.
And she'd make all the women front and center. And Cesar, because Cesar's got great taste and is French and just quite cool. I think we'd all be the ones that she'd put as her mains for that.
Yeah.
For
maybe she'd let Fergus talk, like, for one line.
Maybe she'd let Fergus talk.
Just one line. Wait, so I love that scene between Claire, Marcelly, and Brie. Can you talk a little bit about, like, female friendships? Because I know that originally they wanted Brie and Marcelly to kind of be at odds, but you guys kind of fought for it to be a positive female friendship.
Yeah. So I actually hadn't got. Sophie felt there was a bit of a vibe more, and had spoken to me about it, that there was an element of jealousy that they were trying to play. But we then all spoke about it. Yeah, basically we're like, why don't we go for like let's support and love each other and like unite together, because there aren't that many women in Outlander. There aren't that many of us to channel that vibe and to be those women. So I think it made a lot of sense that we try and go for that angle and you know, really care for each other and be, I don't know, there's only like 4 of us really leading the whole thing, so it would be a shame to not, I guess. Like, there's enough conflict elsewhere that I think
also when Leary comes on next season, since you and I basically wrote that scene, then you can have some good female conflict, but the rest of them need to get along.
And there's also, like, there's so much conflict going on elsewhere, and it's almost easy to make these women hate each other. It would be a really easy thing to do. So it's much more interesting that them not really knowing each other and having to have lived together in this weird time love each other instead. I quite like it.
Yeah, I do too. All right, should we take some questions, because they're really
While
I'm looking at the questions, this question box never works well. Isn't that fun? While I'm looking, it's up. What is your favorite episode of all the shows?
I always tend to go back to Fergus and Marcelly's wedding, just because it was so much fun to shoot it. It was like we were in the middle of South Africa on a beach in a little jungle, and it was like all the cast were there. It was a night shoot, so it was really romantic and it was intimate, and me and Cesar really got to know each other at that point, and we'd spent so much time, just the 2 of us, because we had to. And Sam and Kat were there, and it was just like beautiful. It was like a real wedding, and it just, everyone felt excited that night. It'd been quite a long, hard shoot at that point. And like, I remember all of costume and makeup being all really excited, and I was like with my hair down, and that was really cool. And I don't know, it just felt really real and romantic, and like the beginning of their life together, and it felt like the kickoff of like what was to come, and like the big things to come for them. And
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. Someone just said Fergus's rights are human rights. They really want him to talk.
Is he full human when he's got a wooden hand? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a wife burn right there. Wait, so are there any funny South Africa stories that you can share with Cesar, Sam, Kat from behind the scenes?
There's so many stories, but there's so many I would not be allowed to tell.
Oh, that's what I figured.
So we did. It was great. I mean, it was like we used to just be like, we're living the life. It was so amazing. I think we took for granted like the hot weather and the gorgeous, like Scotland, you're in like the mud and the snow and the wet constantly.
Yeah.
Even we did get some summer this year, but South Africa, it was like we were living by the ocean. We were filming at the ocean a lot. We were in this incredible setting and the warmth. And I mean, there were times where there was one day where it was like 38 to 40 degrees, and which is like, I don't know what it is in American, but that's in UK very hot. And we were filming a Scotland sequence, so it wasn't to be Jamaica. So we all had to be like in our layers and in our wool and everything.
Yeah.
And they had to end up strapping ice packs to like the inside of my thighs and my back and like my tummy and everything, so I could cool down. Because because you can't come out the corsets because you're so tight and you're in. Like it's such a process to get in and out. So strapping ice packs to like stop you from fainting was the point we were all at. And then like there was loads of runners running around with umbrellas everywhere.
Yeah.
And there'd be lots of times where you'd be like, I'll just take the umbrella, don't worry. And they were like, no. Like we all have to be seen to be doing something, and this is a really fun, easy job. So we'll just like, because we can hang out and just hold it. So
like, please let me just hold this umbrella.
Yeah. So it was great. Yeah.
Okay, let's see another question here. Oh, we've been playing a game with everyone called Marry, Quarantine, Social Distance. So I'm going to give you 3 choices. All right. Cesar, John Bell, Richard Rankin. You get to marry one of them, socially quarantine with one of them, and then socially distance from.
Oh, so like socially distant walk.
Yeah, like well,
they have to go away.
They have to go away, but like in a protection sort of way.
Oh, to protect them.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if we want to be nice.
Okay, like if I'm going to be nice about it, then that makes it a little bit easier, because I would marry Cesar because that
married.
Makes the most sense because we've done that and we know how to do it. We do that anyway. Richard I'd quarantine with because he can play guitar. And he's funny. He's very funny. And he would drive me nuts, but we can tell each other that would happen, so it would be okay.
Okay.
And he could teach me guitar more than I can already play. I play a bit, but he could go further, and I feel like I need to get better at that. John Bell, I'm going to use the phrase, because we need to protect John Bell.
At all costs.
John Bell. Because we need to have John Bell, so we need to protect him so he can distance. But I love you, John Bell.
All right, and then we'll play one more. Sam, Kat, and Sophie.
Ooh. Oh my God. Okay. Marry Kat.
Okay.
Quarantine with Sophie. Socially distance from Sam. Because we need to protect Sam. Although Sam can protect himself. He's huge.
He can.
So I don't know. I feel like what would he give me in quarantine? He's my friend. Like I think everyone I know that's watching, they know what they would get from him in quarantine, and I don't want that. So
whiskey?
Yes, let's say whiskey. Yeah,
you get some of that.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you mean they know what they get? Would he make you work out a lot?
Yeah, maybe, or like because everyone loves him.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Everyone would love to see him doing a bit of gardening with his muscles out.
Yeah, that's.
But I wouldn't want that. That's what I'm saying.
You're like,
I don't care about that.
You're like, I'm not into naked gardening. I'm not going to do that.
Not from him. No, thank you.
All right, so let's go to another question here. Marina asked, some of everyone's favorite moments have been the scenes with Marcelly and Claire. What has been one of your favorite moments between them? And do you have an off-screen story with Kat you can share?
Oh my goodness, I'm sure we can. I think one of my favorites would definitely be the autopsy, because that felt like the kickoff of their whole time together, and this like merging of souls to be this like unit in the surgery. And I think like is the turning point for their relationship of saying we trust each other, we're going to do this together. We now have a secret together that is really big and we can't tell anyone, so we're in it together now. And that just felt really big for me, and that felt really important for the two of us. We rehearsed that scene prior to shooting it. Like normally the way it'll work is we'll just be on set, you'll get a quick rehearsal, you'll have done your work separately and then you'll go. But for some of the big stuff, we'll rehearse like a few days or weeks before, and we did that with it and really sort of delved into what it meant for the two of them, and it being a really big decision for Claire to choose Marcelly, especially over Brie, who I'm sure would be her initial thoughts, but Brie as in like for wanting that sort of relationship and who she would trust in telling everything. But Brie can't handle that side of the world. She's great at many things, but that sort of being a bit squirmy and that realm of the world she's not so into. So it was really special. And then that day on set was just really funny and silly because we were so giddy with it. Was so heightened the whole time that anytime anyone cracked or fucked up, it was absolutely brilliant and hilarious. And she had so much dialogue to learn and also have to keep a really straight face with me, and I had to really go for her, that it just was like giddy and funny all day, and it took all day to shoot it, so it was like, I don't know, 14 hours or something doing it.
So when you guys have scenes together, who would you say breaks first?
Oh, that's hard. My initial thoughts were like me, Kat, and Richard. I would say would be like Richard's a wee bit better at holding it together and like keeping your eye. I crack pretty badly. So does Kat. And Kat, they're like Sam actually can be like that too sometimes. He can be quite funny, but I think he tries to hold it a bit more. Me and Kat, I think, are a bit more like will fall. That you can tell straight away if we're a bit crack. Yeah.
And then who brings you back? Like who's like, come on guys, we gotta work.
No one. Everyone just finds it really funny. Me and Tess are quite good at being like, all right, come on, we gotta do it. Like we had a really hard day. We shot a scene that I think is in like, and it's like on the DVDs or something. It's a secret scene. That I think will come out at some point. I'm not sure when, but it was a really, really hard day. It was thunder and lightning, and we were shooting outside all day in snow, and it was like winter, and it was just a horribly tough day. And we kept like getting a bit mad in terms like we get really wired and crazy, and the two of us had to like pull each other back and like high five and keep going and tell each other, being like, "You're really good, yeah, you're good, yeah, you're good, no, you're great, no, you're great," and then keep going. So everyone
can you talk to us? Someone just asked, what was the most disgusting thing during filming? Can you tell us about that day on set with the maggots and what happened?
Yeah, the maggots were disgusting. I was like, what kind of job is this that we do where we have maggots as our co-stars? But how
in more than one episode, I was like, why is season 5 so obsessed with maggots?
Yeah, the worst part was that they came on set and they weren't washed, so they stank really badly, and everyone was like, what the fuck is that smell? And then Kat was like, have they been washed? Like, you harvest maggots from dead flesh, that's the only way that they can be found. And everyone was like, oh no, they have not been washed. And we were like, make someone do that now. So someone went and washed them, and they came back, and it was my job to hold them all day because I walk into the scene holding them. So then Claire takes them out of the bowl into Jamie's wound. So I just had to sit, and you can hear them like crackle because they're wriggling all over. So yeah, it was disgusting. It was quite funny. Like it wasn't funny to start, and then it got funnier. Yeah. The longer you like sat and we're like, what are we doing? This is so
I know
weird.
when she put those on Sam's legs, did he get grossed out by that?
No, he found it quite funny because they would like wriggle off and like run away. Because you were shooting the whole scene, and because it's not real, they're going on to like prosthetics. They just run away. They don't stick and eat it. Well, they can't eat it. So, he was quite good. He was quite solid with it. Yeah,
I know. It looked so gross. So gross.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, I'm pulling up another question. Sarah wants to know. Marcelly has developed all these great new relationships, Brianna, Claire, young Ian. Any particular cast member that you love working with that you haven't gotten to work with before?
I only got to work briefly with Duncan for Myrta, and we got a bit to do in season 4 and some in season 5, but I loved working with him. He's just like such a godfather and is such a phenomenal actor and is hilarious as well. So and we're quite similar. And someone tweeted me today saying like Marcelly's Myrta .2, and I was like, I will take that. In terms of protecting everyone, I was like, yeah. So Myrta, he's good. Jocasta, me and Maria are really good friends actually. We chat all the time, and I don't know what that was, but we didn't really get to work together at all. And I absolutely love her. David Berry as well, very close with David Berry. We're all really close. Like David's a really, really close friend, despite we were in one scene, in the drinking scene together, but we've known each other for years. Because you meet at like press events and whatever else and things like that. So
basically you want to work with everyone.
Yeah. Richard and I hadn't done much. In fact, we hadn't done anything. That was our first scene together. But again, we're already very good friends. So it was great. And I'd love to do more with him. He's a phenomenal actor. I think Richard's really, really a really special. I knew about Richard before any of the other cast because he was a Scottish actor and like had been around. I feel like
great. You and Richard can maybe sing a duet. I mean, everyone seems to be doing that, so why not?
Yeah, why not? I'm a better singer than Richard, I reckon. I need to like pull him up on that. Nah, he's great. Yeah, we could do that. I'll suggest
he can play the guitar, you can sing, and then you can teach each other.
Yeah. He told me when I played guitar once that I was playing out of key, and I definitely wasn't. So I'm not sure what his ear is. I don't know how good he says he's good, but I mean, someone should challenge it. We'll see.
I think you guys should do an IG live together where you we
sing.
Yeah, where you sing and we can tell you who's better at what.
Content. Yeah.
No. Who is the funnier co-star? Who is the funniest co-star? I can't read.
Me.
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard. I'm gonna go with that. If you can't pick yourself, who's the funniest?
Richard's really funny. Richard's absolutely hilarious. He's very dry, and I think I mean, Cesar, to be fair as well, me and Cesar laugh constantly. We're just giggling with little kids all the time. And we have now got very similar sense of humor and like underlying language that we have with each other because we're so close. So sometimes it'll just be like a little look with Cesar, and we're like, oh my God, I know exactly what you're talking about. And everyone else is like, I don't get it, what? I think we are particularly best friends on the cast. Yeah. And people do look at us sometimes. Like, I sometimes feel sorry for new cast members or like people coming in for a couple of days because the two of us are super weird and funny with each other. And they're like, what is with them?
You're like, what's with all these inside jokes? We feel so left out. I want to talk about your podcast, She's a Wreck. I listened to an episode of it. It's so great. Who are some of your future, why did you decide to do it and how did it come about? And who are some of your future guests?
Cool. So why I decided to do it, there's a radio station in the UK called BBC Radio 6, and it's all your sort of off-kilter bands, new bands, not your top 40 type of music. And my dad introduced me to it a few years ago, and I'd always film-wise, I was like, I just sort of noticed basically in my 20s that loads of the films I've been watching, loads of the albums I've been listening to had all been men, and it just became apparent to me as a woman in the industry, in the entertainment industry, that I actually didn't know my female influences particularly. So I thought, how cool would it be to talk to some of the coolest women about their female influences? And I'm also a fiend for recommendations, so I'm always asking people like what to read next, what to listen to, what to watch, as are lots of people. So I was like, I wonder if you could combine the two and have a whole mesh of things. So it basically is talking to some of the coolest women of our time about the albums, films, and books by women that have most influenced their life. And so we've had incredible people. I couldn't believe, like, I asked Ellie from Wolf Alice, the lead singer of Wolf Alice, and she said yes straight away. And I was like, oh my God, you're one of the biggest rock bands in the world.
That's so exciting.
And like a bit of a minority doing what you're doing. And she was so cool. And we've got this week we have Polly Bennett, who's like the movement director on film sets for like everything massive. So she just did The Crown, all of the lead characters in The Crown, and the new Princess Diana and everything. She taught Princess Diana how to be her. She taught Rami Malek how to be Freddie Mercury. She taught she's currently teaching Austin Butler how to be Elvis for the new Baz Luhrmann.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
And she literally, like, it's a job I don't think anyone would know really exists, but it's so fascinating what she does. She goes in and transforms actors and people into real people and moves a set, and she's worked in theatre loads, so hers is really cool. We've got coming up next week, we've got someone called Liv Little, who is the coolest. She's the founder and CEO of a magazine called Galdem, which is a huge magazine here, and it's now massive globally. Everyone should check it out. For focusing on women of color and non-binary people. And she's basically created like an empire for herself, and she's like in her mid-20s and is one of the most successful entrepreneurs. And she was in Forbes 30 under 30 this year. She's unbelievable. And then we've actually just had, I can't really talk about it because I surprise everyone every week, but someone that deals with bombs in the UN has just said yes. So
that's amazing.
So that's going to be really cool and weird. And I think I've got an idea where at some point in the future, where it comes to future series, because we're going to do it series by series. In the future, I'll have men as well speaking about their female influences, and we'll get Cesar on and any of the boys, and we'll do it with the guys as well, because it's not about not loving the men. Of course,
will you change it to He's a Wreck?
No, it will just be, because we're still recommending the women. So it'll be maybe more of a mix. It won't be just men.
Oh, I like that. That's a good
we'll
idea.
Mix them in. Yeah, so the guys will recommend women that have influenced them, because I feel like that's important that we hear about that as well.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it'll evolve, and it's been absolutely phenomenal. Thank you to everyone that's listened. Like, I can't believe how well it's gone.
Yeah.
I'm so proud and pleased, and it's been great. Yeah.
I know. Well, we're getting so many questions. So people want to know, I don't think you know this, but is season 6, like, when do you think you'll go back? Best guess.
Honestly, I have no idea. We don't know.
Okay.
We genuinely don't know. We've been told nothing. There were dates, and then there's not been dates, and then there's been dates and not dates. So it would be silly of me to try and predict, because it would be a prediction. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, it will happen at some point.
Yeah.
But no one knows anything at the moment, do we? That's what's so weird about this time.
I know.
Everything's bizarre.
Yeah. It's going to be such a different environment too, because is everyone going to be wearing masks or?
That's it. And I think there's a lot of talk about CGI, so that there aren't so many massive crowd scenes and things like that, CGI and that sort of stuff. And there was jokes going around on, like, I've got WhatsApp groups of different things I've been in, and I was actually filming. It's so annoying, because I was filming a different series at the beginning of this year, and it was all to be announced, and it hasn't been announced yet, so I can't talk about it. But because we don't know when it's going to air and things now, but we've shot it. But that group of actors and crew and everything have been saying that there's lots of letters going around being like they might quarantine and house casts together. So
it'll be like the real world or something.
And everyone was like, well, it's going to have to be like penthouse suites for all of us, because no one's going to be able to live with each other for too long periods of time.
No, not at all.
No, so I honestly, like, it's the whole face of it's all going to change. It's so weird. I don't know how it's going to work. I hope it's all right soon.
Could you imagine, like, what if all of your Outlander co-stars and you had to live together for 3 to 4 months?
So, well, I mean, South Africa was not unlike that. We were all in the same complex of apartments. Everyone had their own apartment in this one spot. So it was like living in a mini village with each other. So me and Cesar were like at each other's houses every day. And Kat as well, like Kat was having parties, and like we'd all go and climb mountains together and that sort of thing. And it was amazing. It was so fun. But to live in one house, I think I'd kill them. I think I'd kill anyone.
You need your own space, especially during this time. Wait, someone said, where'd that go? Do you have a group chat with your co-stars?
Yeah, we've got multiple group chats. Yeah. There's like various ones that have started and finished. And
who's the main group chat you're in, like, every day?
Oh,
not that you have to pick your favorite.
My family one I'm in every day. My mom is a big WhatsApper. The family one's always going off. I've got the people I trained at, I did the National Youth Theatre in the UK, and we have a group, and that was 5 years ago that we all came together, and we're always talking. Like, it's constant, to be honest. There's like most of them, it's like constant. They just never stop.
Yeah.
So you're always in weird contact. Where's my on my phone? I could have checked.
Yeah. Who's the biggest texter in your cast?
Good question. Is John quite a big texter? John's quite a texter.
Okay.
Me and Cesar speak every second day, probably, on the phone.
Oh, nice.
So we text a lot. Yeah. We're always
Have you been FaceTiming and talking on the phone with people a lot more since quarantine? Yeah,
so like me, Kat, Sophie, and Maria, Jocasta, Claire, Brie, and Marsley all had a girls' drinks like a week ago, and
that's amazing.
Everyone was in different parts of the UK and the world and whatever, and we all chatted for ages and caught up and saw each other, and it was so nice. It was so. Katrina had her tequila and I had my mint tea because I was drinking.
She just went for the hard stuff, right?
She is a stone cold girl. So yeah, we like everyone's chatting all the time. We're all actually good friends. We don't hate each other at all.
I know. You must miss each other. What are you gonna when you get back on set? What's the first thing you guys are gonna do?
Like hug everyone if we're allowed to. Hug everyone.
You might need to like wear something like protection for hugging.
Yeah, I wonder what that'll be like if we'll be able to hug. Maybe we won't.
I don't know.
If not, we'll have to come up with some like air handshakes.
Yeah.
It's like
Sophie and I talked a little bit about what love scenes will be like in a post-COVID world on Outlander. It's gonna, you'll hear about it later.
I yeah, no idea. I thought about that as well. No idea how that's gonna work. Maybe there'll be none. Maybe that's Outlander's no more.
I have to, yeah, Outlander can't work with social distancing. It's just not a possibility.
Yeah.
Wait, someone said, and I'm asking this only because I want your reaction. Is Sam as good looking in person as we think he is? You guys, this is a feminist chat. Sam has a great brain. We're going to talk about that.
He's a great brain. And
huge.
Yeah, he's very good looking. He's a great looking guy. He's a hunky man. Is that what you want to hear? He's not ugly in person. They don't Photoshop him.
Yeah, he's a hunky man who she does not want to garden with.
I don't know. And I don't want to see him as hunky. He's an intelligent, kind, smart, funny man. Yeah.
Wait, so I have a question. You know, you had said before you don't watch the episodes because it's also weird to see your friends naked, but some of the most beautiful shots, like let's talk about the finale a little bit. That last shot in the finale is amazing. Did you watch that, or are you like, oh, it's
of everyone panning out and it comes
the aerial shot of them?
Yeah. So I have I seen it? I'm sure I've seen it.
It's basically Kat and Sam like entwined together.
Oh, it's them standing on the porch, isn't it? And then it away from
it's after the porch. It's like they're in bed. There's an aerial shot of them. They're super naked, but it's like a very intimate scene.
I see the one you're talking about. Yes. And he's holding her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have seen it. It's gorgeous. Yeah, I have seen that.
So it's really well done. I think this season of Outlander did a good job showing a marriage where there's intimacy, but it's not necessarily sexual.
Yeah, and that's it. And I think that they were really careful not to make it that, because it would feel so wrong, I think, after what's happened to Claire, to go further with that sort of thing. And it would feel very gratuitous, and it would feel very like we're just giving people what they want. And actually, I think if they had done that, I think people would probably be upset, because you would go, that's not real. That probably isn't what would happen. I know I'm sure many different ways in which you would react, but I just don't think that feels realistic.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter that people were saying in the books it's written quite differently, and I'm glad they didn't do it according to the books. No offense to how that was written, but I think they like struck the perfect combination of how.
Yeah, Kat was super involved, I think, and like if she was made to be comfortable and was able to say what she wanted to say, I think so. I think it was really well handled, that final scene, definitely.
How was it having Kat as a producer on set for you guys? I know she's been very involved, but was it nice having like one of your friends who can advocate for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, she's always done that, to be honest. Like both of them, Kat and Sam, have always been very supportive and always listened out for all of us, and it honestly don't feel like too much had changed at all with it. I didn't feel like they got any better, because they were already great, if you know what I mean. Like, I didn't feel unsupported anyway to then suddenly feel supported. So and if ever there was stuff, we knew we could go to them anyway. So as younger people and newer cast members as well, they've always been phenomenal.
Did they boss you around on set any more than usual?
No, nah, they know not to do that. Everyone, that's the thing about actors though, like, you don't touch someone else's part. You don't tell someone else how to do their part. You don't comment on that. Like, you can comment on what you're doing together, but you can't tell someone else how to be.
I know. Could you imagine? That would be the worst. Okay, should we take a few more questions? I feel like people are going to get mad at me, but it's hard to get in here. Cool. If you could get, please. Someone wants an Outlander Instagram cast, Outlander cast Instagram live. Okay, we'll work on that.
Yeah, work on that.
Who do you miss the most in your cast right now? That's a tough question.
That is a tough question.
Yeah.
Probably Cesar. We are best friends. Like, we hang out together. We go out together. After every day on set, we have like multiple rituals that we'll do, because we're both flying in. When we film in Scotland, we're both flying in from France and London, from Paris and London. So that's where I live and he's in Paris. Yeah. So we always get to the hotel together, and like we'll go and have dinner, and we have the same place that we go and the same table that we sit at, and like we talk to
Aw.
the same waiter, and we often get the same food, and like we have our stuff that we do, and we're genuinely very close friends.
Oh, nice. So you're like a
So
platonic marriage in a way.
yeah, totally. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. And we know everything about everything. So yeah, probably him.
So, some other people asked, what have you learned from your co-stars? And I'm going to name a few. Sam.
What have I learned from Sam?
Yeah.
I would say Sam's very good on set at he's got a really balanced way of being. So if he doesn't feel like something's going the way it should be in a scene, he's got a very calm and intelligent and positive, not overbearing way of trying to sort it out and make sure that everyone's comfortable and that everyone's happy and that everyone knows what they want to do. And I think when I was newer to the set, I hadn't done that much screen work, and I knew collaboration, but when it came to screen, there was just like an intimidation of that world. I learned sort of his technique was quite effective and working smoothly. So yeah, probably that.
All right. Any ridiculous story about Sam?
Ridiculous story
that you're allowed to share.
Yeah, let me think. Less of a story, just like whenever he's got his kilt on, he loves to like get his leg out. whenever he's got his kilt on, I'll end up trying to get a photo of everyone, and he'll like to just like make sure he's got his wee leg out.
Show a little leg.
So I think he's a bit of a show off. I think that's all it is. He's a quiet secret show off. Yeah.
Someone wants to know, have you spoken to Sam? Okay, I'm gonna look for other questions.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Yep. We answered that. Okay. There we go. What have you learned from working with Kat?
What have I learned from working with Kat? Kat really commands a set. I remember thinking that when I saw her, she really commands it. I think Kat's really good at it's serious and it's work, but also having a good time and having fun. And she's very good at welcoming people in. I think I remember feeling like she really tried to welcome me in when I joined, and I was new and I was young, and I now like to think that I would try and do that with everyone else coming on, because I know the show so well now. I know everyone on set, you know your crew, you know every actor, and it can be really intimidating. So I think I learned probably to try and make people feel comfortable and welcome.
Yeah. Were you intimidated by her or anyone at first?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Kat especially, probably more than anyone else, because I didn't know the show. I wasn't a fan of it at all. I'd binge watched for my audition. Yeah, most of it. I think I watched I only had time to watch every second episode, so I was very confused when I actually came to the end, because I'd missed so many like bits of it, and I'd done.
Wait, did you watch the wedding episode?
I think so.
Oh,
I can't remember now. I mean, like. Yeah, I mean, I remember bits of it, so that was like 3 years ago. So I'm like,
it was a while ago.
Yeah, but that when I walked on set, I just remember my first day, absolutely terrified, and the first thing I had to do was walk in and call her a witch and a whore, and I was like, great, I haven't even had a chance
please
to say
don't
hello.
say whore the regular way. Only say the other way.
Yeah.
So
I just didn't get a chance.
So should we take so this is great. People, I can't tell you how many questions we're getting right now. Are you good on time?
Yeah, we're fine.
We're fine. Okay. Okay. So do you feel that having Sam and Kat as producers this season changed the show from last season?
No, I wouldn't say it changed the show. I just think I don't think it changed the show.
There we go.
So much, because I think they know the environment and the world and the rhythm that it runs at anyway, so that's not really the point. It was working, so they weren't there to change it so much. I think it's just always helpful to have people that are within, like almost like bridging the two teams of like the behind the scenes and the in front of camera. It's really helpful to bridge the two together, and Sam and Kat like are the faces of the whole thing and really are there every day, all day in it all. So it's not, they really should be in the conversations, and it makes a lot of sense that they are. So I think it's really right, and it works.
Someone just said you guys have an hour limit for an IG live, which really put like pressure on.
6 minutes left.
We have 6 minutes left, guys. We'll do this. We can do this again. I mean, quarantine's long.
Yeah. Yeah, quarantine is long.
It's so long. All right, let's see here. I'm gonna try and get some. Give me some good
I think
last.
actually what you can do is you can come off it and then just go straight back on.
That's what, and you know what? I think we could do that because we have a big audience here who still wants to hear from you. If you're
we
down
can do
for that.
Yeah, we could do it a bit longer.
Yeah. Should we go off it now and then come back on?
Okay. Okay, everyone, we're going off for a second.
Everyone
and we're coming back.
Tuned. We're gonna be
here
BRB.
right now. We'll be like a second. Okay.
All right.